45 of the Gridiron Podcast, the only podcast in the world that has all the grit of Formula One and all the iron of American football. If you can't tell from the intro, we talk about Formula One and we talk about football on this podcast. I'm Sean Barry. Joining me, as always, our NFL.com resident talent writer, the Bald Behemoth. He's rocking the tank top tonight.
The Stringer tank, baby. It's the official uniform of Gym Tools Everywhere, baby.
There we go. He sets off lunk alarms even when he doesn't go to Planet Fitness. It's Nick Shook.
That's good. I like that. That's good.
Oh yeah, okay. Nothing.
That's all I have. I have nothing else to add.
And then joining us.
Me, meathead. I don't have thoughts.
Well, your
Protein.
words, not mine, Nick. Creatine, protein, yum. And then also joining us this week is our Canadian queen, Katie Caldwell, holding down the fort in Mountain Time this week.
Wow, good job, Sean. Yes, I'm hopefully back for the entire episode this time. No longer filming on a potato, so this is
that's
great.
right.
I'm
Forgot
glad to
about
be
the
back with you
potato.
guys.
Yeah, if you weren't here for episode 94, Katie started off, she was house sitting in Vancouver. She started off fine and then just completely glitched out on her potato Wi-Fi, with her words, not ours. And then chimed in the rest
of the potato. Wi-Fi was
the
fine.
laptop. Okay,
Yeah.
the laptop's the potato. And then she chimed in via the chat the rest of the way, which was objectively hilarious.
I did low-key kind of love being just a guy in the comments. I had a really good time doing that.
First time, a long time. It's got me, Katie. If you would like to chime in, please join the chat, chime along, and we will read out your comments as we go along here. Got a lot to get to this week. We're coming off Championship Sunday in the NFL. And then also, guys, when it comes to F1, we got cars on track. We got the shakedown going down in Barcelona. We'll talk about that a little bit as well as the shakedown wraps up. We're recording on a Wednesday, so it wraps up on Friday. I'll explain exactly what that is, too, why the hell it's called a shakedown. We'll get into all of that. But let's start in the NFL. First, however, as always, you can join in on the fun. You can find us on social media. We're on Instagram at GridironPod. That's on IG at GridironPod. We're on TikTok at the.gridiron.podcast. You can email us at thegridironpodcast3. That's the Gridiron Podcast number 3.
Damn those
Other two at gmail.com in case you want to go old school and email us. And where can they find us on YouTube and on Twitch, Nick?
YouTube.com/@GridironPod.
And then you can follow Nick on Twitch. He does a lot of great things, including live streaming his NCAA college football video games, in which Kent State is national champs by now.
No, 2-time MAC champs. There's 15 people in the league. I started from 0, man. Although, Sean,
So did Kent
breaking
State.
news. You opened the door, so I'm just going to peek in through it a little bit. Kent State moving on to the Big Ten in 2030. Watch out.
Go Flashes.
Go Flashes. That's right. All right,
Flashes.
guys, we have officially the first week without football since early, August at this point. It's because it is the quiet before the storm, the deep breath before the plunge. Super Bowl 60 coming up in Santa Clara. Nick, you're going to be there for the NFL. Who do we got in the Super Bowl this year? Surely two teams that have not been there recently or any time within the past 11 years or so. Some new blood, right, in the Super Bowl, Nick?
I mean, I think you basically described exactly who we have. The two teams that were there 11 years ago. It's the Seattle
did
Seahawks
I?
and the New England
Funny
Patriots.
how that
Wow.
happened.
Wow, what a great setup there, Sean. But you know what? I don't want to diminish the matchup at all because those of you who are new to the podcast may not know this, but Katie Caldwell, in her Western Canadian self, in her own ways, she is a Seattle Seahawks fan. Katie is on cloud 9 this week, so I would like to give the floor to our resident Seahawks fan, Kate Caldwell. Tell us how you feel.
Well, I did have a few beverages to celebrate, and I did let out all my feelings in our group chat, including voice notes and everything. I was having a really good day that day. Sam Darnold had a really, really good game. And
His
that was
best
really
game.
wonderful. His best game. And I was one of the talking heads leading up to that of like, oh, well, he still might be seeing ghosts and he still might turn into a pumpkin. And that game, he buried me into the ground with that. And I was very, very happy that he did. All season, we've talked about the Seahawks defense, and they were not the story to me in this game. Sam Darnold was the story to me in that game. And I had said to you guys, like, I've been a longtime member of the Darnold Hive since way before he was on my team. But it was never about the play that he brought to the field, I said to you guys, it was usually just about the vibe that he brings to the function of like, I'm just so glad that he's given another shot and he's been, this is what, his fifth team now?
Yeah, fifth team.
Jets,
2018.
Panthers, 49ers, Vikings, Seahawks. Yep.
Yeah. So he was the story of that game. JSN had that amazing catch that I'll never forget. Like that was such a feel good win, and it was over the Rams, which is fantastic. I still can't quite believe it. I haven't worked in the NFL space since my team has been in the Super Bowl. So you guys know this. Like eventually it does kind of start to feel like work when you work in football, and this season it doesn't right now. Nick, I understand you
Nick's
of all
like,
people
yes.
probably feel that way.
Blink twice if you're in danger.
This is one of those weeks for me where it's just really, really fun to be a Seahawks fan. And I feel myself really leaning into it, and I'm having a great time. And I feel good as an OG member of the Darnold Hive.
The fact that he's doing this for your team, though, how much more special is that?
That's it exactly. Like I was a fan of his before he came to my team, and I was kind of hoping that we would see Jalen Milroe this season because I'm like, who really knows what we're gonna see from Sam Darnold? Maybe it was just because with the Vikings, like it didn't finish on a super high note. Like that was when he kind of started to start seeing ghosts again, and that was when all the conversations resurfaced of like he's not built for these big moments, and like what was a bigger moment than the NFC Championship with a new team against the LA Rams.
You kind of hit it on
he
the- oh,
was
sorry.
the story of that one to me, and I didn't expect him to be. I expected the defense to be the story. Maybe Kenneth Walker, maybe JSN has a good, like I wasn't expecting to be talking about Cooper Kupp and Jake Bobo and Sam Darnold, but here we are.
You really bring up a good point, too. And Nick, you mentioned this. 5 teams now. Drafted by the Jets, number 3 overall in 2018. Goes to Carolina. Gets traded to San Francisco. Gets signed at, Minnesota and has an amazing season last year. And yes, we were talking about on this very podcast, he might be seeing ghosts again because towards the end of the year, he started to turn back into kind of the Sam Darnold that we all knew. One and done in the playoffs. You can say what you want about a team winning 14 games, having to go on the road. But he's won 14 games now, 2 seasons in a row as the starting quarterback. And still, and I don't blame the Vikings necessarily for not putting their faith in him because you did draft J.J. McCarthy. You have to see what he had. But it does just add to that story and that myth of Sam Darnold because now here he is with the Seahawks. All right, you don't believe in me? Fine, I'll do it in Seattle. And here he is going to the Super Bowl. It's a great story, Nick. It's the story that people love to hear and to cover.
How often does a team take a huge swing at quarterback in the offseason and it actually pans out? I think
Was this a huge swing, though?
Oh, it was a massive swing. They gave Sam Darnold a 3-year, $100 million contract. Now, structured it so they could get out of it for 1 year.
Exactly.
He's getting $100 million?
That's why it was a medium swing to me.
It's
I didn't
100
know it was
million.
100 million.
It's 100 million split over 3 years. Yeah. They could get out of it without a
That's a
huge
Baker
cap
Mayfield
penalty.
deal.
Yeah, they could get out of it without a huge cap penalty after year 1. So it was structured for like a 1-year trial with the hope that he would become something better than that, or at least live up to the expectation that he set in Minnesota. But it was a huge swing because in order to get to the position in which they were able to do that, they had to trade away the guy that everybody loved, the guy that had given them consistent play at quarterback over the last 2 years in Geno Smith. And they shipped him out to Vegas and then entered free agency with the idea, let's go get Sam Darnold. Damn it, we're hell or high water. We are signing Sam Darnold. They made the aggressive play. They threw the money at him that the Vikings didn't want to throw at him for understandable reasons. And then they've benefited more than I think anybody ever expected. What was the narrative at the end of last season? Darnold crumbles in Detroit in week 18. Darnold crumbles in Arizona, which is a Rams home game because of the wildfires. They couldn't play it in LA in the playoffs, and they lose, and they wash out after winning 14 games and just falling
Didn't
short
he
of the number
crumble in
1 seed in the
London,
NFC. I'm sorry, say that again?
Didn't he crumble in London too?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
There
but
were
like
signs throughout the
the
season. Yeah.
the real like worrisome stretch was the last 2 games of the year. It was
Yeah.
Sam Darnold can't live up to the expectation in high pressure moments, and frankly, he didn't have to in the divisional round because the Seahawks were just a dominant, better team. In fact, he was about the 4th factor for why they won that game, but that was not the case in this game against the Rams. He throws for 346 and 3 touchdowns. He ends up in a shootout of sorts with Matthew Stafford and goes blow for blow with him. And they capitalize on, the turnover that the Rams had in their end. And he ends up going to the Super Bowl. Like, let's just stop for a second. Sam Darnold, the guy who blew everybody away last year with the season that he had with the Vikings. but nobody really believed that he might be able to do it again. They thought, okay, well, maybe he could be a serviceable, solid, reliable quarterback, but he's not going to do what he did under Kevin O'Connell. He had Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and Aaron Jones back there. No way he'll do that in Seattle. He just one-upped himself. He's going to the freaking Super Bowl. The guy who saw ghosts and got mononucleosis is going to the Super Bowl. This is a massive story. It's massive.
Yeah.
I want to bring up one thing though, because since the Seahawks have advanced to the Super Bowl, I've already seen the narrative, and I'm sure you guys have too. If Sam Darnold wins, if the Seahawks win, where does he rank as the worst quarterbacks to ever win a Super Bowl?
Off.
Thank you.
Are you serious? People are having that conversation in good faith right now.
This is why sports
within 5 minutes, within 5 minutes of the Seahawks winning the NFC title, I saw that on Twitter. I saw it online, and I've seen it since. Where does he rank among the worst quarterbacks? And I'm like, he's not on the list. From what he did last year to what he's done this year, he's not on the list. Like, if Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, speaking of someone that covers the Buccaneers for a living, go on to like win the Super Bowl next year, I'm not putting Baker Mayfield on that list just because he also flamed out in Cleveland. Like, no, he basically took the same exact path that Sam Darnold did just a couple of years sooner. No, Sam Darnold is now a good quarterback. I'm not lumping him in with, Nick Foles and Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson.
Well, Brad Johnson actually was better than people remember. It's just that defense was so good that he's lost in the shuffle. Nick Foles actually played really well and was a big part of outdueling Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Big picture, though.
Trent
That's
Dilfer
a bad faith argument.
Trent Dilfer is very much
crazy.
a good argument, or a good comparison, if you want to make that argument. However, it doesn't match. I didn't think that I was going to have... when I woke up today, I was like, no, there's no reason for me to choose violence. I'm getting up on the pulpit right now. Preacher Nick is coming out because... Congregation filled with football idiots, the same jackasses who end up in my DMs over how I rank their favorite quarterback, and they always point to the numbers. I'm going to point to the numbers. Sam Darnold, the kid from modern day, the kid who was a hero at USC, led them to the Rose Bowl win over Penn State, fights through adversity. He's been through the fires of hell. Yea, he who has walked through the valley of the shadow of death and come out on the other side alive. And not only has he come out alive, he's come out like the Lord risen on the third day. He's come out like an angel, a savior to the Seattle Seahawks, who needed that leader.
What?
Who needed that leader.
What? Look at his life and realize there's nothing left.
Sam Darnold has thrown over the last 2 seasons for 8,367 yards, 60 touchdowns, and 26 interceptions. Did he lead the NFL in giveaways this year? Yes. Did he give the football away in the playoffs? No. Is he fully capable of winning the Super Bowl? Yes. And is he deserving of credit if they do win the Super Bowl? You're absolutely right. I almost took the Lord's name in vain, but I stopped myself short because we are in the house of worship. And when Sam wins that Super Bowl, the praises will be sung from on high. And when I mean from on high, I mean from the general Seattle area, way up in the Pacific Northwest. Because the Lord has delivered the Seahawks a victory that they've wanted since 2014, since they didn't hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch. And Malcolm Butler, you can't get in the way of this divine intervention. Because it's Sam's title to win. And all of those detractors be damned. Sit back and watch as the hero himself comes home to roost and raises the Lombardi trophy. Can I get an amen?
Amen!
Amen, baby!
By the way, you know what I love? By the way, Nick, that was amazing. Thank you, sir. Round of applause for Nick, everybody.
Am I religious now?
What I love about this is the cigars that were left in the San Francisco 49ers locker room, the visiting team locker room, when the Seahawks clinched the division, and someone took a picture of that and are the Seahawks planning to come back and get these? Hopefully someone kept them lit because they're coming back to get them. They're coming back to Santa Clara. I think we leave the Seahawks talk there because I don't know.
I have so many more things to say.
Oh, please. No, then please.
If we may.
No.
We have no football
please.
this week. Sean, I am glad you brought that up because obviously this is a very, very, very bad faith argument. Very rare for those to happen on Twitter. But when I hear something like that, that's just not a ball knower to me. Like, you haven't watched his games. Like, that to me is more of an indictment of franchises that broke him and gave up on him too easily. Like, it's very unlike the Jets to ever break a quarterback or the Browns or anyone.
No, of course not.
I do want to bring up Mike McDonald because that moment where he was doing the post-game interview, I just got goosebumps right now before I even say it, where they were talking about you had to get through the Niners, you had to get through the Rams, and then he goes, "We did not care." I was like sitting in my living room, like tears welling up in my eyes. Like, he to me is such a big part of all of this. And when he said that, that felt like a moment that will be remembered in Seattle sports history forever. Just the emphasis that he said it with, like, that was one that I will always, always remember. And it was just like such a joy to watch him win that because it feels like all the guys love him and all the fans love him. And I'm very, very excited that Mike McDonald is the coach of the Seattle Seahawks right now.
Yes, and you should be. But what's really funny about that is you could still tell how new he is to it because when he said that, which by the way, Sean will point this out, that's Tomlinism. That's a famous Mike Tomlin line.
We do not care.
Yes.
We do not care.
When he said it and the crowd erupted, he like his eyes got big, like they lit up. He was like,
Yeah.
"We did not care," and then they were like, "Yeah," and he's like,
Little bit of babe in the headlights look.
and he's like, "Keep going. This feels great." It's like
But that
comedian
part
when they
was
take the
so
stand to
fun.
stage the first time. Get that crowd pop, yeah. And it was. I'm sure it was an absolute delight and a blast for the Seahawks fans. They haven't been there. I mean, for some fan bases, they've been tortured for much longer, but they haven't been there in 11 years, and they've seen how hard it is to get back there. So they
Yeah.
probably appreciate it that much more.
I'm just so thrilled with the timing of the Seahawks and when they decided to give up on the guys they did. Going back to Russ, like that was the perfect time to say goodbye to Russ. A lot of people didn't like it at the time. And I was really excited to see Geno Smith finally get that opportunity. And then he did so well. And then he gets shipped out. And that was the perfect time again, too, because it just did not look the same in Vegas, obviously, even remotely the same. They've done such a great job just building that team together and timing things out properly, even though at all of these times there was always a case to not do it. And it just feels like they hit this out of the park again and again. And this is why they're here.
Let me ask you something specifically because I have to go on air and talk about it tomorrow. There's a topic I have to talk about the Seahawks and the Patriots blowing it up. I don't think either team really blew it up. I think they made conscious decisions to take a step forward. The worst season the Seahawks had under Pete Carroll was that 7-10 season back in 2021. Aside from that, every other season, whether it was 12-4, 12-5, 9-8 in there a couple of times, 10-7, was still a successful season. So I don't think the Seahawks really blew it up. I think, to your credit, like you said, Katie, they just took selective steps on how to go into the future, whether that was... Now, you could say moving on from Russell Wilson was blowing it up. Moving on from Pete Carroll was blowing it up. No, I think they were just taking steps towards the future.
I don't think it's blowing it up. I think that's taking a big risk, and it was a big reward for both those items.
Well, I think it was a little bit easier to move on from Russ once it became clear that everybody in the building disliked him, in the locker room at least.
Yeah.
But shout out to the pit master himself, John Schneider, earning his sweaty pits this time around with all the work that he's done, reshaping this roster, really in Mike McDonald's image, if you think about it. It's a defense that is very multiple, very versatile, can do a lot of different things, has their own Kyle Hamilton in the form of Nick Eamon-Wari, not quite the same player, but able to function in a similar capacity. Trusted their gut in how they implemented some of their secondary members, like in replacing Reek Woolen early in the season with Josh Jobe because Reek was struggling, and then kind of bringing Reek back into the fold and having them both out there with experience.
And then it
Julian
almost
Love.
cost them their season.
Which,
true.
speaking of Rick Woolen, thank God they won that game.
Well, Reek's gonna reek. I mean, we know that, right?
That was... Man,
Rick got out of that one because that looks a lot different. And I loved the tweet with the little gif of like, "Do you guys still love me?" I'm like, "We only do because you still won that game, Rick Woolen."
that was almost really bad. That was almost... He was never going to have to pay for a meal in Los Angeles again had the Rams won that game.
Yeah, that's true. But I think on the flip side, maybe this is a good point of transition. I don't know if the Patriots blew it up as much as, like, because they were always a team that the reason they were consistently successful is, one, Tom Brady never got paid the most money in the NFL, so they always had cap room to work with. Although
They didn't blow it up. Tom Brady blew it up. Like, Tom
how
Brady
else?
was like, "I'm going to Tampa Bay." They didn't proactively say leave.
Yeah,
Right?
But and there's also questions about how they compensated Brady, but that's neither here nor there. They also were a team that I think their strength was always in numbers, in that like they sought specific archetypes that fit their mold.
Yeah.
And that's how you got the rise of, non-household names that ended up making big plays. I think about like Kyle Van Noy. Like a lot of his career was spent in New England making a difference. I think about Chris Long showing up at the end of his career. Like they were really good at piecing together these rosters year by year.
They found
And
a specific type of guy.
even at receiver, they never really had a number one, save for the year they had, went crazy with Randy Moss, and yet they were always a very prolific offense. They made it work with a number of different guys. Obviously Kent State's own Julian Edelman was a big part of that for a long time. But so like the franchises that are built
MVP,
like that.
Julian Edelman?
Yes, yeah. Franchises that are built like that tend to not blow up. They just kind of disintegrate gradually.
Yeah.
And a lot of that starts with the departure of the quarterback. And I think that was always their big missing piece. And then they found that piece last year. It's just that they'd hired the wrong coach. And they needed an offseason to retool their roster and infuse it with a blend of young guys and veterans. And credit to the front office, Elliot Wolf, credit to them hiring Mike Vrabel, which was the most obvious slam dunk hire that you could make
Yeah.
as soon as Vrabel was available and they had an opening. Like it was just written in the stars there. But credit to them for putting this team back together in a fashion that is kind of similar to Patriots fans. They kind of look like the old Patriots, except they have a different style of quarterback who is immensely talented and is wise beyond his years. And that is, again, the linchpin of this entire operation. And that is why they have played a relatively weak schedule, but have won the games they needed to win to get back to the Super Bowl. So neither team's blown it up. So good luck with that discussion tomorrow, because I think that
Thank
that,
you.
uh,
Well, no,
premise
that's
is a little
exactly-
off base.
Thank you. That's going to exactly be my point for both of these. I don't think either team blew it up. To your point, Nick, let's switch over to the New England Patriots, a team that scored just 10 points to win the AFC Championship game, fewest of any of the 12 times. Yes, 12 times the Patriots have advanced to the Super Bowl. Drake May, the quarterback you were mentioning, Nick, MVP caliber year, threw just 86 passing yards. They're in the Super Bowl again. The
Yeah.
the Pats are back. I don't know what to tell you. The Pats are back.
I'll tell you exactly what happened in this game.
That game was ass.
the-
If we're among friends.
Preach. No, preach. Honestly, no.
We're among friends in
was.
public, yes.
That game sucked. And you know what? It ended 10-7, and you can talk a lot about Sean Payton. He could have kicked a field goal earlier in the first
Oh,
half.
I don't give a shit
taken
about
points.
that.
Right. I don't like. Look, be aggressive. Fine.
revisionist.
Should have been more aggressive
Exactly.
earlier on, because Jim Nantz said in that game, "Hey, we're expecting snow in the fourth quarter." He didn't say the second half. He specifically said the fourth quarter. And what happened in the fourth quarter? It turned into a snowball.
Many
It got really sloppy. Why weren't both coaches, honestly, being more aggressive earlier on and
I'll tell
trying
you.
to, please?
Okay, so here's what happened, and this is why the Patriots can thank Mother Nature. And I'm not taking anything away from what they've accomplished this year, because it's been a fantastic first season for Mike Vrabel. But the Broncos dominated the first quarter of this game. The Broncos looked like the better team, even
Yeah.
with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. They gained 125 yards or so in the first 3 or 4 possessions. They scored a touchdown. They had another methodical drive. That's the 4th and 1 that they decided to go for it. Bad play call, not bad decision in my mind. Kicking the field goal to go up 10-0 only looks wise once you know what the final score was and you know how the second half played out. So maybe they missed an opportunity there, but in that moment, as I'm watching this game, I said out loud, you got to go for this.
14-0.
You got to go for this. Like you're dominating right now. You go for this. You get that 1 yard. You get in the end zone. You go up 14-0. You take control at home in the AFC Championship game against the
City
Patriots
was slinging
team.
it.
That has never been there. Yeah, and he was slinging it. That pass to Mims was nice.
Yeah.
The pass to Sutton was nice. What we also saw was backup quarterback who wasn't really capable of handling, making all the right decisions as a quarterback does in pressure moments. He did not take enough sacks. He tried too hard to be the hero like CJ Stroud did against the Patriots the week prior. And I think it cost them. And that's what opened the door for the Patriots to get back in the game, is when he tries to throw the ball away and he ends up getting hit while throwing. It goes backward. The Patriots recover. They end up in the end zone a play later. Suddenly it's 7-7. The Patriots have life, because before that they had no life. And then it didn't really matter from then on, because this war of attrition broke out for the rest of the first half. But the game officially changed just as the weather rolled in. We get out of halftime. You can see the snow starting to come in. You're getting flurries, and the Patriots receive to start the second half. And Mike Vrabel's squad proceeds to go on a 9.5-minute drive. It is a energy, like a life sucker drive. It's one of those games where you just slowly drain it from the opponent by going on this methodical drive. You're not getting the ball back. You're never seeing the ball back again. We're just going to hold this whole quarter. They damn near did. 9.5 minutes. Yes, it ends in a field goal, but it gives them a 10-7 lead. And that was so important because by the time the snow started to set in and the Broncos got the ball back, they had maybe 1 or 2 chances, 1 or 2 possessions to really do something about it, and they didn't before it was a complete nightmare of a snowstorm. And your kicker's not going to make a field goal, which, by the way, that was going to be a good field goal by Will Lutz, but it got blocked. And I know people are always like, oh, he missed the field goal. No, it got tipped. It got redirected. It was online to go in. And so, like, you can look at it in hindsight and say, well, you should have kicked the field goal in the first half. Nobody knew that it was going to get this bad and this sloppy. You can pin it on Stidham. Yes, he wasn't really built for the moment, but most quarterbacks are going to struggle in that environment. Players were literally saying that they didn't even know where they were on the field. The broadcast crew didn't know where they were on the field at certain times. And even with the field goal lining up, Lutz thought that they had lined up a yard shallow, and that's why it got blocked. He checked the tape later and said it actually was right, but they didn't know where to line up because there's no lines in the field. You never realize how important the lines on the field are until you're on a field that's covered in snow and you have no idea where you are. And so I think that in this overly reductive sports climate that we're in which you need to like boil things down to very simple takes to fill a morning show or fill a radio show, you pin it on the quarterback, you pin it on the kicker, you pin it on the coach for not going for it on 4th and 1, maybe you pin it on the weather. But there was so much more, and it was more about the flow of the game than anything. And I think that's why Broncos players afterward, they were disappointed, but they were like, we had a great season. It almost felt like the control was taken out of their hands by the weather. Big win for the Dome fans. Kind of converted me a little bit, but ultimately, like, yeah, congrats to the Patriots. You happened to capitalize on the most important drive in the second half, took a 3-point lead, and then Mother Nature swooped in and said, I'll give you a big assist so you can get to the Super Bowl.
I have never been in favor of the dome argument, and then this did kind of change things for me. And I remember exactly what had happened when Drake May went to go hand it off to Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson slips, and then Drake May slips, and it was like we're not even going to see one more proper snap of football here, are we?
Yeah.
It took over to a point where it didn't feel like there was going to be any comebacks. It didn't feel like anything exciting was going to be happening the rest of the game. It was like, oh, this is just how it is now.
It was like survival. Like, who can survive?
Literally. And then by that point, I'm like, can we just get this NFC championship going already? Like, I'm already bored by this game. Like, let's move on.
Isn't that football, though? Isn't there, like, some sort of, like gladiatorial kind of feeling about this still, though? This game, I think, is, yes, a good indicator of maybe we do need a roof. But last year, in the divisional round in Philadelphia, Rams and Eagles, I mean, that was a good show, and that was a snowball as well.
Yeah, no, you make great points, and I think that also is very indicative of the quality of team that's emerging from the AFC this year. Like, what have we said for the longest time?
Which I love as a Seahawks fan.
The NFL is filled with flawed teams, and every good team in the AFC is flawed in one way or another. And it's just they're not the same. That's why the best 2 teams in the NFL played in the NFC Championship game. That's why it felt like the Super Bowl. That's why it was a 4-point finish, and why most people think the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. And that's fine. And I agree with you. It is football weather. And Sean, as somebody who went and watched Brown Steelers in a snow bowl last year, I had a wonderful time. That is football at its essence, right? And yet I also understand that, like, in the biggest games, you kind of don't want weather to play a part. But that's why you get home field advantage. I got asked on radio this week. They were like, do you think you should play conference championship games at neutral sites going forward? And I was like, no, absolutely not. There's a reason that you play all these regular season games is to get the highest seed, get home field advantage, have a playoff game. Keep the neutral site in the Super Bowl, and that's it. And accept that this is football because 10 years from now, it's only going to matter in a handful of stadiums anyway.
Including Cleveland, because they're afraid of the snow now, apparently. Let's end the Super Bowl talk here, because, Nick, you are going to Santa Clara on Sunday, so we're not going to record next week. Let's do our Super Bowl prediction, and then let's get into some coaching talk, because I do want to talk a little bit about the coaching hires and about Bill Belichick, because that's making headlines here, too.
Why? What happened?
We do. Let's do our Super Bowl picks. Katie, we will let you go first. Chivalry.
Well, guys, I know this is going to come as a shock to everyone, but I have the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl.
What's the final score? Is it Hawks by 1 billion?
Yeah. I think it's going to be by like maybe 10 points.
Okay.
I'm going to say 30-20.
Okay, Sean.
Okay, all right.
We don't hand
Nick,
it, or
no,
we
go
do
ahead.
hand it off at the 1 yard line this time. We don't throw it past.
Yes.
Yes. If you are at the 1 yard line, hand it off to Kenneth Walker. Okay, I will go. Man, I know the Seahawks haven't been there in 11 years, obviously, since, that play happened, Malcolm Butler. But to me, this Super Bowl kind of reminds me a little bit of Super Bowl 36. We've got this offensive juggernaut on one side, and then we've got this up-and-coming team with a quarterback that's up-and-coming. I'm going Patriots. I'm going Patriots. I'm sorry. I'm picking the Patriots to win 28-27. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
had to do
sorry.
the math in my
I'm
head
sorry.
to remember which one was 36. Quick anecdote for you.
Is Drake May up and coming? I think he's here. Anyway, sorry, Nick, go on.
Well, yes, but he's still. I think in year 2 he's still up and coming, right? It's not completely established until like year 5. Right?
I know, but he's in the MVP conversation.
You're right, and he is here. But can he be here over the next 3 years? Because at that point, then you're established. I
True.
think. So when I was in the 4th grade, that was Super Bowl 36. That was 9/11, and when the Patriots prepared to play the Rams, it was the greatest show on turf versus a team that only got here because of the tuck rule. My entire 4th grade class, we had this contest, choose who's going to win the Super Bowl. And there was a little 2 columns on the left side of the chalkboard, and one had a little Patriots label and one had a Rams label. And everybody took their name and with the magnet on it, put it under the Rams. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, little contrarian 4th grade me is like, you know what?
Fight the power.
I kind of like the Patriots in this one. I like the story, and I was the only one to pick the Patriots. So after they win the Super Bowl, I show up, and I got a piece of candy for every classmate that was wrong. There was 25 in the class, so I got 25 pieces of candy, including one for myself. And I sat there with my riches, and they're all looking at me like, whatever, you were right, whatever. And in that moment, perhaps I realized what my future would be as an adult. But more importantly than anything, I also learned a valuable lesson, which is that redistributing the wealth is always one of the most fulfilling things you can do. So I gave everybody their pieces of candy back and said,
Are
we're
you
all
going
in
to
this
pick a
together.
Super Bowl champion or?
The first time that trickle-down economics actually trickled down.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So a 4th grader
Thanks,
with
Reagan.
integrity sharing the candy with the rest of the class. Did you bring enough gum for everybody in the class? So to get to my pick, I thought about that moment, and I thought about 2001, and I thought about the coach that's leading the Patriots. He was on that team. He knows what it's like. But ultimately, I believe that the Seahawks team is just too good. And I think it's going to be close. It's going to be low scoring. But I believe that the Seahawks win it with a 4th quarter takeaway. 24-13 Seattle.
Love that.
Are you glad I got to it eventually, Sean?
I was wondering where land the plane soon. Land the plane, man.
We're
Come on.
circling. There's traffic on the runway. We're circling.
Clearly, there's
Sean,
some
did
snow
you
on the
do a
runway.
score or just the winner?
I said 28-27.
2027. Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't feel good about it, but I have some sneaking suspicion that it's.
I don't know,
gonna
Sean.
happen.
The game that we covered in Miami was
I'm
a great
so
game.
used. I'm so used. By the way, all NBC Super Bowls end up being great games, so we might be in for a nice show here.
Oh my God, I have a supporter here. Chris is in the chat. Hi, Chris. He said, Nick Shook for president.
If elected, Nick Shook will give everyone pieces of candy.
I
in
would
what
commit
Fox
voter
News
fraud.
is calling a communist agenda.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you
I would
so
commit
much.
voter fraud to vote for you, Nick Shook.
Oh my God, that's the greatest honor anybody's ever given me.
Honor spelt with a U. This
Yes,
time.
exactly. Honor. Rhymes with manure.
Tell us more about this radical Canadian agenda, Nick.
Well, my Maple Leaf not wearing but flying friends to the north. We are one people. All right, let's continue. I've already done my
all right.
preaching.
Big talking point right now in the NFL is Bill Belichick apparently not a Hall of Famer, or at least not a first ballot Hall of Famer, because the 8-time Super Bowl winning coach, 6-time as a head coach with the Patriots, of course, was not voted into the Hall of Fame by the Hall of Fame. So, I mean,
I like, the way
11
Sean
people.
I like the way Sean says Hall of Fame.
Hall of
Hall of
Fame.
Fame.
Hall of Fame. It's a really dumb talking point,
like
and it's a
one
really
word.
dumb. It's just a really dumb subject. Of course, Bill Belichick is a Hall of Famer. At least 11 people had to not vote for Bill Belichick to be excluded from the Hall of Fame this time around. He didn't, get the 80% threshold of voters that he needed, and apparently the talking point was Spygate. And I see both sides of this. One side, it's really freaking dumb because it's Bill Belichick. Of course, he is a Hall of Fame coach. He is arguably the greatest NFL coach of all time. But on the other side, there is the Pied Piper has to get paid at some point, and maybe people feel like it wasn't after Spygate. And okay, you're a Hall of Famer, but not year one. So I get that side of it too. But we're going to talk about this because it's Bill Belichick. But I also think it's just stupid.
Katie, would you like to lead it off?
It's exhausting to even have to talk about this.
I know.
Like, he's like the greatest coach of the modern NFL.
know.
And someone that has transcended the game of football. Like, my friends that don't watch sports, they know who Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are. Like, even just as a person existing in society, you know that he's the best coach of all time. These voters, it's not enough to shame them. They need to be publicly tarred and feathered. Like, I read that and it like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
And oh, Spygate and Deflategate. And like, I'm sorry, the consequences have already been given out for that. Do I always believe in the NFL and their consequences? No, I never ever gotta hand it to the NFL. But this shouldn't be up to the voters to decide that he's not worthy of the Hall of Fame when he has what, 8 Super Bowl rings? Like, what are we doing? And even if you go, oh, Deflategate and Spygate, okay, remove 2 Super Bowls, he's still the greatest. Like, what are we doing here?
We better
It's
make
so
sure Tom
frustrating
Brady
that
isn't.
it's crazy that we're even having to have this conversation. It's like exhausting to have read that when that happened.
So when I look at Hall of Fames, they go in this order very clearly.
Halls
Pro
of
football. Oh yeah, Halls of Fame. You're right. Thank you.
Attorneys General.
Attorneys General. Yeah,
Fame.
sorry.
Actually.
That is big actually energy, but I'm glad he corrected me because wow. Take 2, 3, 2.
Irregardless, Nick. Irregardless.
Oh God.
Irregardless.
All right. What was the name of the professor who hated that? Oh God.
I don't remember.
Opine. Sometimes I say opine just because I think about the C+ that he gave me back in the day because he doesn't give anybody A's unless you're a teacher's pet. Anyway, Sean got a C+ too, I think. When I look at the Halls of Fame, they are ordered sequentially, very distinct order. Pro Football Hall of Fame, 10 yards of shit. Baseball Hall of Fame, 100 yards of shit. Basketball Hall of Fame. Don't know enough about the Hockey Hall of Fame to offer my input on that.
It's pretty legit, Sean.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So
It
maybe
is,
like we'll
yes.
put it near the Pro Football Hall of Fame because
there's no controversy, right, with the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Right.
Like you don't not have Wayne Gretzky in there. You don't have like Pete Rose, Barry Bonds. They aren't in the Baseball Hall of Fame. They never will be. Like we don't have that problem in Toronto. So
If we could
leave the Hockey
remove
Hall of
Wayne
Fame alone.
Gretzky, our country would, but that is a conversation for a different podcast.
All right, we'll leave that there. But the reason that these are ordered this way is because the Hall of Fame has always had the most integrity and the highest standards, in my opinion. They've always followed a process that has seemed pretty pure and honest and consistent. Baseball Hall of Fame has a lot of old voters who are, have axes to grind. And the Basketball Hall of Fame, everybody gets in. Like, you could just get in for playing basketball for a long time, it seems. There's no real substance to when somebody makes the Hall of Fame unless you're looking for Jordan crying memes. But
so it's like the NFL Pro Bowl this year, is what you're saying.
yes, now we're getting somewhere because the Pro Football Hall of Fame is making a complete mockery of itself, the voters, not the Hall of Fame itself, but the people who are chosen to select the enshrinement classes are making a mockery of themselves and really diminishing what has been a prestigious honor, not overall, but just the process itself to get to that honor by keeping this guy out. On what planet is he not a first ballot Hall of Famer? What
He's the
standard?
epitome of it.
What
This
precedent
one,
are
this
you
planet.
setting? Like, this is a guy that's an absolute slam dunk. 100 times out of 100 is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep.
There is no reason. I don't care what vendetta you have against him. I don't care what he's done in the past that, like you mentioned, Katie, he's already paid for, at least in some ways. The guy's the greatest coach of all time.
Literally with Congress. Like, this went out of sight of the NFL.
Yeah. Put him in the Hall
the
of Fame.
precedent,
What
Nick-
are we doing?
The precedent it sets is you better get ready for the day that Tom Brady is not a first ballot Hall of Famer because
It's
if
a
you're gonna hold
joke.
Spygate against
You're making
Bill
a
Belichick,
joke.
you got to hold Spygate and Deflategate and
Oh my God.
lying to the commissioner against.
No, this is it is
Tom
not your
Brady.
job
You just
as a
have to.
voter. It's not your job as a voter to make somebody hold somebody accountable for what happened in their career when they were
Exactly.
already punished for it. It is your job to honor their accomplishments and what they've achieved throughout their career among the greats. And this guy, they should already have his bust made because he's going in the Hall of Fame. And for him to have to wait a year, I know it's just a wait, but it just taints. Using it again, used it on NFL Daily, using it now. Taints. Proper form, proper use. The whole idea of being a first ballot Hall of Famer or a Hall of Famer in general. Not in the greater scheme, but Right now, it just diminishes it a little bit, and I'm really disappointed because this is the Hall of Fame that I held to the highest standard that I believe was the hardest to get into. I'm pissed off. The Hall of Fame actually released a statement today. I'm going to share it on the screen here momentarily. Katie
By
has
the way,
disappeared.
I
and
think-
Well-
she's back.
What's that, Sean?
I was going to say, while Nick pulls that up, I'm going to say if there's a winner in all of this, I think it's Bill Belichick. Like, we now collectively sympathize with a coach that, for one point or another, we hated. Like, as a Steelers fan, I hated this guy growing up, and now I'm sympathetic towards him because people screwed up.
Sean, can I take this one step further? You know who this is great for?
Please.
Jordan Hudson.
Oh, God.
Expound.
It's great for Bill Belichick. Who's running his PR? Jordan Hudson.
No.
Jordan Hudson. Okay.
Who's going to have
I
a
see.
field day
see what you're
with
doing here.
this?
Trademark Chapel Bill. Okay, the Pro Football Hall of Fame released a statement today. Quote, the Pro Football Hall of Fame understands and respects the passionate reaction of many fans, media members, and enshrinees of the Hall in light of published reports regarding the voting results for the class of 2026. It is that very passion that propels the game. Accurate. The Hall also respects the members of the selection committee when they follow the selection process bylaws. It is an honor to serve as a selector, which it is, by the way. There's not many. Each year, the Hall reviews the selection process and the composition of the 50-person selection committee. If it is determined that any members violated the selection process bylaws, they understand action will be taken. That could include the possibility that such selectors would not remain a member of the committee moving forward. The selection of a new class is the most important duty the Hall of Fame oversees each year, and the integrity of that process cannot be in question. End quote. AKA, somebody's going to pay for leaking. We're stopping the leaks. Nobody's supposed to be in the room and understand. But that's how freaking appalling this result is, that somebody
No one else was in the room
willingly
where it
violated
happened.
the law,
Room
the
where it happened.
bylaws.
The room where it happened. No one else
To
was
tell
in the
the
room
world
where it
how
happened. The room
absurd
where
it
happened.
is.
The room where it happened.
I still think they need to be tarred and feathered, not just stripped.
Sexy.
Shame.
That's what I thought too, Sean. Objectively sexy.
You know, I don't know
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this Game of Thrones style. Ding. Shame.
We're
Shame.
gonna do this old school.
Shame.
I'm
It's
here to
stupid,
protest,
all right?
but I'm
Like,
averting
look.
my eyes.
Look, we've all seen that video of Bill Belichick shirtless walking out of somebody's house in the morning. I mean,
My
Pablo
eyes.
Torre did a lot of great work on that story.
moving on to some other coaches. There's been a lot of coaching changes in the NFL. Obviously, 10 openings this year. We're not going to talk about all of them. Jesse Minter to the Ravens, John Harbaugh to the Giants, some guy who I don't know to the Dolphins. Just,
Jeff Hafley, defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, former head
Yeah.
coach at Boston College. Ran away from Boston College to avoid getting fired, ends up defensive
Todd-
coordinator of the Packers, and then rides the ladder all the way up to head coach of the Dolphins.
Todd Monken with the Cleveland Browns today.
Boo.
Yeah.
What a
And
Mike
then-
Pettin hire.
Second that.
And then we got Mikey M from down in Greenfield taking over for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hell yeah.
You know,
If
it's
ever
it's
there
a
were a
shame.
time to bring,
It's a sh-
Yinzer Bob
yeah,
on
I was
the
gonna say
podcast.
it's a shame, Sean, that you're at work right now because I don't think Yinzer Bob knows where you work.
I know.
Otherwise, he should pop in and chime
Nah.
in on this.
Now, I can do my best Yinzer Bob impersonation, but
Oh, we
no,
don't want
unfortunately,
that.
Yinzer
No,
Bob
we don't
can't
want
We need
that.
join us
the Yinzer
today.
Bob.
The
I can't tell you what. By the way, I was on the phone with my mom when the news broke that Mike McCarthy was being named as the head coach, and I told her, and her reaction was like, "Shit, are you serious?" Like, even my mom knows that nobody wanted Mike McCarthy to be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the most uninspiring hire of this coaching cycle until the Bills just promoted Joe Brady, and then
I would say
until
until
the
the Browns,
Browns,
yeah.
and then until the Browns hired Todd Monken.
There is some competition.
This was prior. This was prior to these other coaching hires, and then Mike
Big old
McCarthy
bit off.
gets in front of the mic and speaks, and every Yinzer, every Steelers fan, anybody that has a terrible towel in their closet around the world, looks at this man and goes, "Crap. All right, I didn't want him, but he's ours now. We're riding with him. Let's go." I mean,
he
that's
does love Pittsburgh.
he loves
lot.
Pittsburgh, and I sympathize with him because how would you guys feel if you got your dream job after all this time, whatever that job may be, if it meant the most to you? When he started his press conference by saying it sometimes takes a minute to get comfortable in the new colors you're wearing when you get to a new team, but it's a blessing to wear the same colors that you were brought home from Mercy Hospital in. The same hospital I was born at. There's only 2 hospitals you can get born at in Pittsburgh: McGee's or Mercy.
Born
so,
at.
So half the Yinzers in Pittsburgh are like, hey, I was born in Mercy Hospital too.
This guy gets on me for not knowing where Copenhagen was. And he's over here saying, "Get born."
Where'd y'all get born at?
Where'd y'all get born at?
Ian's, where'd you guys get born at? Hey, McGee or Mercy? So, yeah. Did I want Mike McCarthy? No. Do I think this is going to work out and result in the stairway to 7? No. But he's one of us. We're going to ride with him begrudgingly, but here we go.
Count the Pittsburgh Steelers among the handful of teams that parted with their coach and downgraded, because Mike Tomlin was like, I'm out. Mike McCarthy. Joe, trust me, Sean, for all the gripes you have with Mike Tomlin, you're going to get some gripes with Mike McCarthy. Just wait.
So too.
End of half
Mike
scenarios,
Tomlin, 10 years
clock
older.
management. Yeah. And also, let's get your input here real quick. I mean, obviously, I think the Browns also downgraded, but I don't even really want to talk about that. Let's get your input, Sean, on well, now I lost my train of thought.
Brilliant.
Brother, we've all been there.
CTE.
Get my thought on.
While we wait.
Glittering and.
Glittering and.
Know what the hell? I don't know what the hell I was saying. Your input on something regarding this hire, and now I completely forget. Oh well, it's gone.
You're gonna remember it at like 3 a.m. and text the group.
Yeah, when we're off the show, and I'm done making a fool of myself.
Those
God,
are my
I'm really
thoughts on Mike
embodying the
McCarthy,
meathead look today. I mean, I got the stringer tank on. I can't complete a thought. Really, just leaning in.
We can hold on this for one more moment, and Nick, you just disassociate and try and think of this while I'm speaking. But this is one where I think I've talked about it on the pod before. I love what you look like when you disassociate. That is really gorgeous.
Thank you.
There's a few coaches in the league that I struggle with being really hard on because of my personal relationship with them, and Mike McCarthy is one of them, and Dan Quinn is the other. But in terms of like guys that have worked really closely with Galvanize and really taken a lot of time for us, Mike McCarthy is one of them, and he's just like the loveliest person and so easy to cheer for. So when he got hired, I was a bit like, okay, hell yeah, I like this, because he's someone that I will first and foremost always cheer for as a person. So I struggle to be objective on this situation because I just love him so much as a person. And all he talks about at all times, even when he was coaching the Cowboys, was Pittsburgh. That's all he would ever want to talk to us about. And if any of the women in the group were from Pittsburgh, everybody would. Are you pointing? Did Nick? Did you come up with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
I did actually.
You did. Okay, that's it. That's all for me.
I didn't interrupt you. I didn't. I wanted to let you go. But go
no,
ahead,
I just wanted to give you a tiny bit of space before.
Genuinely.
No, that's fair. That's fair, Katie. I totally understand that. That's how I
Nick,
thought
what do you
about
want my
Freddie
opinion
Kitchens. I want your opinion.
It's gone again.
Not again.
I'm just kidding. It's back. It's hanging on by a thread, but it's back. The Steelers breaking precedent, breaking their convention of hiring young guys and going to a guy who is much older, who has already been a head coach at 2 different places. They haven't made this type of move in 55 years. So, like, what's the deal with airline food? But really, what's the deal with the fact that you don't have a quarterback and yet you feel like this is the guy you need to? This is the hire you make when you think that you're a coach away from winning a Super Bowl. They're not. So what's the deal
with corn nuts?
What's the deal with cornerbacks?
Is it corn or is it not?
Is it quarter or is it back? No, Nick, you're absolutely right. I mean, everyone kind of looked at like Chris Shula from the Rams and went like, "Yep, that's our guy. 38-year-old defensive coordinator, comes from a coaching family. Yep, that sounds like a Pittsburgh Steeler to me." And then they completely went the opposite direction. They went with someone who's older than Mike Tomlin by 10 years, someone who's already been established in this league, who is not a defensive head coach. Yeah, that is completely the opposite of the Pittsburgh Steelers mold. At some point, though, like that was going to have to change. And I think now was the right time to do it because you look at where the league has come in the last 57 years from the time Chuck Noll was hired, then Bill Cowher was hired, then Mike Tomlin was hired. It is such an offensive game. And what have the Steelers been terrible at, even when Ben Roethlisberger was here, was the offense. So, no, I don't blame them for going offensive-minded here. My number one candidate was Clint Kubiak. Like, I thought that's where
That's
we
fair.
were going. I thought we were like, I'm like, hey, if we're looking for an offensive guy, let's go to the guy in Seattle who has helped Sam Darnold continue to progress as a quarterback. That's who I wanted. I didn't care if we got a defensive coach. I really didn't care. I thought we would go young. So this was definitely not on my bingo card. When they brought McCarthy in, I'm like, oh, they're just giving the local guy due respect. Nope, they're hiring him. Okay. All right.
Sidebar with Clint Kubiak, when JSN lined up in the backfield and then tricked the entire defense, I was like, the Seahawks can never get rid of Clint Kubiak.
Yeah, that's where I thought we were going. I really thought we were going there. But now a good time to shift gears.
Yeah.
right,
The
let's
only
shift
thing I want to
gears.
say on the Browns real quick is hiring Todd Monken was not only settling and making a Mike Pettin level hire. Todd's a nice guy.
Oh,
But-
he is.
It's also doubly damaging because Jim Schwartz got pissed off and said he's not staying anymore. So not only did they fire Kevin Stefanski, they also lost the coach they still wanted to keep on staff. So congrats to you, Browns. You keep finding ways to sink lower and lower and lower. Now let's shift gears.
As they do. One quick note for me before we move on about the Bills, because I feel like the Bills is kind of a big story. One, Sean McDermott, I never thought that was the problem, that coaching was. I thought roster construction was. But I think that he had some of the funniest lore in the NFL with the 9/11
9/11 stuff. Yeah.
And also, now there's officially a coach in the NFL that is younger than me, and I'm submitting my application to be fired into the sun because that doesn't feel right, and I'm uncomfortable with it. So we will just see how
36
that
years
goes.
old.
But this might be my last pod due to the being fired into the sun.
One quick thing for me too, Nick. I'd like to get your opinion on.
Nice. He's making fun of me. Nice.
Crap, I lost it. All right, let's shift gears. F1. It's officially the shakedown week. Are you ready for the shakedown? Because we can't call it a test. It's not a test. Bahrain pays way too much money to be the official home of F1 preseason testing. So because there's a new regulation coming in this year, new cars, new drivers, they're in Barcelona this week. Can't call it a test. It's not a test. It's a shakedown. No media is allowed, no streaming, no broadcast, no photos. People are literally hiding in the hills around the track.
Wait, I thought they're
in the
taking photos.
trees.
I'm seeing photos.
Some, yes, teams are allowed 6 photos per day.
What?
Yes.
Choose
And
wisely.
then-
Whoa, 6 photos!
And then then F1 is kind of releasing some video, but basically all week long, 5 days, Monday to Friday, teams are invited to run their new cars at Barcelona. They can participate in 3 of the 5 days during the shakedown. All 9 teams are expected to compete or to test. Sorry, to shake down their cars. All
Thank you.
teams except
Have
for
some
one
respect.
are expected to shake down their cars, and all of those 9 teams expected to shake down their cars have, except for Aston Martin, but they're supposed to run on Thursday and Friday. Only one team will not be in Spain altogether because they are in Spain without the S. Williams. Williams is having a tough time. All that talk from James Vowles of let's break the mold, break everything in 25. It's all about 26. 26 is here, and Williams is not. Why?
That's where I saw them. I too am in Spain without the.
Yes, because Williams' car apparently was failing its crash safety test and came in 20 to
Perfect.
30 kilograms overweight.
Sick. That's great for them. That's insane.
Williams, we were all rooting for you. We were
were
all
rooting
rooting
for
for
money
you.
now. How?
That's wild.
Carlos
Sean,
got on the podium. Alex got engaged. We're rooting for you, and you do this.
I'm hearing about this for the first time. I didn't know this.
I have no insight to offer other than
Me
how,
either, that's
man. What the
insane.
hell?
How does that
So
happen?
apparently now James Valls has said that they have gotten their regulations under control. They have survived the crash test, which is a good thing, but apparently that has added even more weight to the car, and they are abandoning any kind of plans to run at Barcelona and test. I'm sorry, shakedown. Shake down their car. At
This is as
Barcelona.
bad as did you ever watch that documentary? Who was the dude from the movie Wall Street? I forget his name, the actor. Gordon Gekko.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, Greed is good. Who is that actor?
Was that Charlie Sheen?
No. Damn it, it's escaping me. My brain's
never
obviously
seen Wall
not
Street, I'm
functioning
sorry.
okay. Oh, okay. He narrated this documentary on McLaren like a decade ago, when McLaren was like in the absolute just doldrums of their existence. Where before Zach Brown got there, where they ran the orange car, the papaya car,
Thank you.
with like no
GP2
sponsors on it. Like nobody wanted to sponsor this car. And I'll always remember this. I watched all these episodes on a flight. I think it's on Amazon Prime. And they failed their own shakedown in-house. They couldn't start the engine of the car. This is what it reminds me of.
I hope
That's
Williams
crazy
isn't
to
that
not be
lost
able
in
to
the
start
doldrums.
it.
Because James Valls said that they will be at testing in Bahrain next month. They missed the shakedown.
I got it. Michael
They pissed
Douglas.
down. their
Michael
opponent
Douglas
for the
is the
shakedown.
actor.
Michael Douglas, thank you. Okay. So no Williams at the shakedown. We did see Red Bulls. We've seen Racing Bulls, Cadillacs, new team. McLaren, Lando Norris just debuted the McLaren today. They haven't debuted their livery yet. They have a black kind of like camo livery on right now. But we did get to see the number 1 on Lando Norris's car as he pulled out of the
Blech.
garage. LN1 is a thing, baby. Let's go.
Ooh.
Does he need a new logo now? Because there was like a 4.
Yeah,
in
there
his
was a
logo.
4 in his
Now,
logo.
let's not
so
talk
yeah.
about negative space and like stuff in iconography with Sean because he couldn't see the upside down 1 in Max
There
Verstappen's
wasn't
logo
one. There
'cause
was
he doesn't
not
like
one.
those things. There
There
was.
was not one.
I have a
There was
picture.
not
I
one.
showed you. I traced it.
You had
It's not
to
my fault
draw.
you can't
You
see
had to
it.
draw lines that weren't there.
Yeah,
you had
it's
to
an
literally
artist
draw
about
lines that weren't there.
personal interpretation, Sean. Come on. How
no,
do you
if
experience
it's in
it?
the negative space, again, dude, Hartford Whalers, perfect example. The whale tail is in there, all right? The H is in the whale tail. We're good. Like, no, that's terrible. There was no one, Nick. I will die on that hill. There was no one.
Rip in peace.
Going
there was
back
a
to the
one.
shakedown. Sorry. Going back to the shakedown. Everyone kept saying that the 2 engine suppliers that really nailed this because they found a loophole were Mercedes and Ford. Mercedes are in, obviously, Mercedes, McLaren, Williams. Are they still in Aston Martin? Or I think Aston Martin's in Honda now. I don't know what the hell Nick is doing.
Nick is having a moment to himself right now. We can just
Ford,
let him
baby,
okay.
let's go. Let's go.
Nick,
And
would
the
you say you
McLaren
built
Rain.
Ford tough? Is that something that you identify as?
Oh, I'm not.
He's got a
Look,
Toyota.
man, all respect to the late Toby Keith, but no, I'm not built Ford tough. But I'm excited about Ford because that's the engine supplier to Red Bull, my team.
Died?
It is. Here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Through testing, the Mercedes, they look fast. I love how easily I lose the room when I talk about F1.
This whole podcast is just Tiny Dancer playing lightly in the background with me going, I'm sorry, you're telling me about this for the first time.
She's like, "Well, I actually have an IFB in here. I'm hearing this for the first time.
You're telling me about this for the first time.
Guys, that is news to me. I am learning about this for the first time.
We're just getting news that Toby
back to
Keith
you.
did in fact die.
Well, T's and P's.
That's
I
great.
forgot about that.
That's great, Katie. I'm just happy that moment happened. That was hilarious.
Well,
Anyway,
I wonder
Sean.
what we'll learn next week on the podcast. Nick learned where Copenhagen was. He learned why Daniel Jones was called Indiana Jones, and Katie learned that Toby Keith is in fact no longer with us.
Look, I may be bald, but I'm still got a little bit of blonde in me. All right.
I've never had a concussion. I'm just not very smart.
Oh, you're brilliant, Katie. Don't have that
Nick.
negative self-talk on this podcast. Come on now. I can wear it all.
In closing, Mercedes look quick. They're about a second faster than everyone else. Then there's the McLaren, who's about a second faster from everyone else. We'll see what happens from here on out. Max Verstappen
you know
hasn't
what?
run. Isaac Hadjar has. Mercedes
Max-
look to be quick this year.
Max did get in the car. I don't know if he put any real laps down because I saw him. I saw a video of him driving in the full wets, in the car. But Sean, what do you think about? I almost lost that one too. Jesus. What
Stay
do
with
you
me
think
here. Stay with me.
I want both
Super
of you-
Bowl
I
is so close, Nick. We're almost there.
I know. I am limping across the finish line, guys.
No, and we're grabbing and carrying you across.
Wow. Wow. There were 2 sets of footprints on the sand, and I wondered, where were you? And there was only one set of footprints. And he was like, that's when I carried you. That's when you're just carrying me right now. I couldn't even get that off correctly. I can't say words. Anyway, what do you
Hey,
think
Nick already
about
forgot what he was about to say.
What do you think about the new look for the cars with the new regs? What's your take on how they appear?
The weirdest thing is the active arrow, where you see both the front wing lower and the back wing open up. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Yes, exactly like that. I'm gonna freeze frame that one. What was that face?
What were you doing with your teeth?
I don't know.
I love this episode. I'm so glad to be back.
I'm sweating.
This has been episode 95 of the Gridiron Podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about the Super Bowl recap. Nick still won't have slept since Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. For Nick Shook, for Katie Caldwell, I'm Sean Berry. As always, live life in the fast lane, folks.
And as Chris said in the chat, I am dying. I'm losing my mind. Good night, Canada.
Good night, Canada.
Losing my mind. Wish somebody. Losing my
Sean, will you
mind.
wrap this up already? Come on.
Yeah, come on. Can we get there, Sean? Jeez. Follow us on Instagram @GridironPod.